Well, I'm thinking that this is just going to be one of Ubisoft's things from here on in. Assassin's Creed games are always going to come with one premium part of story-based DLC. It's not a hassle for me. I was buying the PS3 version of this game to look at the Copernicus conspiracy, and they were offering a Brotherhood bundle on the PSN store, which meant I could save like $5 on this premium DLC, so it all worked out for me to get the Vinci Disappearance. When you purchase the DLC, the game slaps a marker on the map directing you to starting it where, for some reason, Desmond gets a cryptic letter from someone saying that they're unable to meet at the moment, but they will continue to help him in the coming days. Afterwards, it's found that obviously Da Vinci has been abducted from his Roman workshop, considering the DLC's title. Ezio gets concerned, and in the detective process goes to Da Vinci's apprentice, Salai, I think he's called, playing dice cards at La Volpe's house. He's a pretty arrogant son of a bitch, and makes me ponder why Leonardo kept him around. Also, the further mystery of why Salai ended up getting around half of Leonardo's money dumped on his bonds. Hell, Leonardo even sent the bastard a whole vineyard, which must have been a right hook to the wallet on that deal. Thankfully for Ezio's investigation, some lion-dressed people immediately assault Salai as he's coming out of the guild. Ezio kills them because in Assassin's Creed combat, the counter-attack move trumps literally everything. After returning and hoping that Salai would actually know something important, they turn to the idea that Da Vinci left a clue about who stole him in some of his works, and that'd give him another idea. The problem is that with Da Vinci gone, the Templars came in and muzzled some of his work to their higher order members. 5 paintings have vanished, and Ezio is going to fight for them back. Unlike the Copernicus conspiracy, the Da Vinci Disappearance is a better put together story. It feels more cohesive because it's more unique with all of this painting nonsense. Weird characters and the Hermeticists being exclusive enemies just to this quest line, instead of the Copernicus conspiracy that mostly centered around generic missions where you could find anywhere else only fighting the stock model of Templar Guard. Copernicus was the only interesting thing about the mission line, and he was only in the quest twice for the 8 objectives you had to do in it. So it works a lot better here, and most of all, it's actually fun to play through. The missions are more immersive, they occur in special areas, and seem to have actually been designed from the ground up with some actual effort. Like, the first place Ezio has to go is once again visiting Lucrezia Borgia, that bitch who has politically important sex with everybody. Ezio has to sneak up to her room to locate the first of the paintings, and it's one of those required stealth sections that works because it hits the middle between making you jump through hoops and not making those hoops then murder you. There's an obvious path to go, so you don't end up having to make leaps of faith into every path to find the way out. Lucrezia capitulates pretty damn fast with Ezio's odd style of flirty interrogation. Maybe Lucrezia's into that stuff, I actually couldn't care less. The next stop is with one of the men that Lucrezia knew, Patrizio, who is an important shopkeeper or something. You know, middle-of-the-road guy that people know. Anyway, the painting has been taken by the Hermeticist that he is meeting up with, so he killed the guy and made off with it regardless. This mission required some tailing, so it wasn't one of the better ones. So the next one kicks it up a notch by telling a story of loss with some banker's family being forced to sell the Da Vinci paintings to pay debts. The paintings were then sent down to someone you might not have thought returning in Brotherhood. Duccio, that dickhead who cheated on Ezio's sister at AC2. Well, we get to punch him up again and grab another Da Vinci painting before being told that the others were sent off to some cardinals for a collection. This is Rome, and of course the cardinals occasionally make their way to Claudia's girls, so they know about the art gallery. Ezio takes the information and tackles one of the papacy's couriers to get into the castello. I don't know why Ezio would go through all the trouble when he has the abilities to just run up the walls, but I guess we're playing Captain Legitimate today instead of Captain Numbskull. Then this next bit was the stupid part of the game. Ezio, now at the exhibit, had to mark the paintings he needed the courtesans to make disappear from the Castello's collection. The paintings are all guarded, so Ezio has to kill the guards who are 10 feet away from other guards, and for whatever bizarre reason, this actually works. Ezio is given enough time to leave the markings and then bolt from the house. The paintings are all his, and they were quite inventive quests for an Assassin's Creed game. Immersive, lengthy, and decent challenges at stealth, ranging from almost everything the franchise has to offer, except tailing. tailing missions suck in almost every damned example. Yeah, I know it's a stable of covert operations, but can we stop doing that thing where the person being tailed keeps looking backwards for literally no reason and with no warning, so that we have to go run behind a wall and they have to be like, oh, what was that guy standing there for 10 seconds? It's really fucking stupid. Ezio has everything he needs to get back with Salai at the shop, and it turns out that in the time between Da Vinci learning about and the execution of his abduction, he had the time to scrawl vague map portions onto the 5 paintings they recovered, telling Ezio of his exact whereabouts. Yeah, the DLC doesn't spend much time on having any of this make any logical sense, and this runs into the other problem of Sandbox design meddling, where during this quest, Ezio is still able to meet up with Da Vinci in the shadows to make him work on murder devices to help Ezio's arsenal. I suppose the explanation is that the game has its own particular timeline that has all these events fit into one cohesive story, and it's just that the player is playing them out of the intended order. And sure, that's a decent enough explanation, yet that doesn't take away from the idea that we keep meeting up with a guy who has assumedly disappeared into some unreachable place far away from his workshop. The final clue has been located, and after a dumb map reassembling minigame, the player now has the layer of the Hermeticist down, led by some incredibly important family man attempting to gain Da Vinci's magic number. Yes, he actually thinks Da Vinci knows a magic number that will help erase ignorance from the world. After a short bit of platforming, the important Roman figure gets stabbed up like a little bitch, and Da Vinci shows Ezio through some of the mysterious traps of the Hermeticist temple, only solvable by someone with the assassin's skills for some mystical reason that I'm sure makes tons of sense, just like it makes tons of sense that these Tomb Raider style puzzles are still in perfect working order to do things like make wind turbines and art made out of fire. Solve these ridiculous trials and you'll finally make it to one of the temples of the Apple of Eden the framing device has been yakking on about. Leonardo is confused by it all, but Ezio manages to distract him from it merely by reminding him of his 7 other half-finished projects. For a bit of Assassin's Creed DLC, especially when compared to the packs literally ripped out of the middle of Assassin's Creed 2, this was a very solid and fun experience. One that Ubisoft put a lot of work into, and it clearly shows with the brand new characters, puzzles, and enemies being added. With the content of this DLC being so starkly different from the game that it's in, it's easy to stay immersed and connected to the plot of this DLC, so it doesn't end up feeling like just another part of the game or another side quest, but of equal importance to the main story. It'll keep you interested, and I highly recommend getting the DLC to flesh out the sandbox of Brotherhood. Otherwise, it feels kind of lacking. Yeah, you'll still get the war machines and the Katarina side quests, but this is going to be the one that you're going to remember. It may still cost $10 to get, but I'll tell you that it's completely worth the price.